Hi, everybody. Okay, so as it says, it's going to be my final update, and because everything is now settled pretty much. This happened today, so this is like hot off the presses or whatever. Now, I know that I gave you guys a date of the 21st, which would be Monday of this week, but for some reason, it didn't happen until today. But it was a really hard thing to get through because I think I've talked about this before, but whenever there's a plea agreement reached, most of the time, I don't know if every time, but most of the time, there's a section where people can give the victim impact statements, and some of the statements can be brutal depending on the crime or crimes committed. And I can say that he is um, now charged because he pled guilty to everything that he was charged with, because I told you that he kind of knew that unaliving penalty was on the table. So when he pled guilty, he knew that that removed that off the table. In exchange, he had to plead guilty, obviously, but then also he gave up the right to, or waived, which is WAIVED. He waived the right to appeal any of the conventions, right? Okay, so starts out, they have impact statements from a lot of people, because you have to understand this affected 4 college students. And luckily, they focused more on the names than his name, which is good. And I wanted to do that also because I didn't want to give him the time of day, honestly. Um, so they focus on Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana, right? Okay. Um, so they had impact statements from friends, family, and man, if you didn't cry or at least tear up, there's something wrong with you, because it was just brutal. But they went through all that. And uh, then after everybody was done, the, the the suspect or whatever is given a chance to speak. Now, most of the time they waive the right to speak, but some of them do. I don't know why. But he waived his right. He didn't speak. So then the judge sentenced him to 4 life sentences for each of the crimes. And also, which I was not aware of, he was also made to pay $5,000 in civil whatever to each one of the victims' families, which I was not aware of. I didn't know that was part of it. So I'm kind of glad I didn't know about the civil part, because I would have said that's kind of cheap for what he, as far as cost, compared to what he did. Because I mean, he basically took the lives of 4 people, 4 young people, and I've talked about this with other people before, and this is the way it goes. And I don't know if I agree with this or not, but it's just a known fact that when you have a young victim or victims, that the younger they are, the more their life is valued, because it's the whole thing of like possibility. Okay, if you unalive somebody at the age of say 20, then they're going to value their life more than somebody who they see as they've had a full life, because they can say, well, they lived a full life. Whereas 20, 25, anywhere in that range, they can say, well, there's still the chance of not knowing what they could have done in the whole span of their life. So, yeah. Um, yeah, so that element was present. Um, it, like I said, it was just really, really sad. And of course, they had pictures of all the victims. And then they had this, like, it was beautiful and sad at the same time. This group shot of everybody who was unalived, plus two other people. And it was just really sad because they were so joyous and young and all this stuff, and they had no idea, of course, no idea what was going to happen. So you have all these people in the prime of their life, and that was the last photo taken because 12 hours after that was when everything occurred. So, yeah, but so I think justice is served in this case. Although, you're gonna get the people who say there's never gonna be justice because the only justice would be to bring them back, and of course you can't bring anybody back. So, you're gonna have that side of it too. But I think the court did as much as the court could do. So, as much as I don't like to put emotion on it, I would say that I don't know, satisfied with the results because, I mean, at least they know where he's going to be. And at least they know that nothing else can happen to anybody else because the reason why they give life sentences, I think it's twofold. Obviously, if you take a life, they should give you life. But also, if they give multiple, then no matter what happens in the legal system, like if they change the laws or something, then you can say, well, he's got like multiple sentences here, so he shouldn't be let out. It's just another protection to make sure that he stays where he's supposed to be. So, all right, this is the conclusion of this, and thank God. Bye, everybody.